Welcome everybody to another big episode of TheDoubleZTV, or you guys know by now. Here on my show, I'm the champ. Deal with it, folks. So, it is WrestleMania season, and there's one WrestleMania on my mind. My favorite, the best WrestleMania of all time, and possibly the greatest pay-per-view in WWE history, WrestleMania 17. Now, this show happened all the way back on April 1st, 2001 at the Reliant Astrodome, all the way in Houston, Texas, with the tagline, Houston, we have a problem. Or as I want to call it, Houston, we have success here! Now, on the main card itself, we had 11 matches, all stored into one big show, and about 4 or 5 of these matches were amazing to see. Yes, the undercard was somewhat iffy, but it really picked up in the second half, and today, we're going to go over how amazing this show was.
Snickers Cruncher presents the granddaddy of them all, WrestleMania.
So the opening contest was Chris Jericho defending his Intercontinental Championship against William Regal. They had a bit of interaction when William Regal came back to the company in late 2000 when Chris Jericho ruined his little tea party by saying he's going to perform a magic trick. And instead he just took the tablecloth with all the fine china and threw it out of the ring. Nice move there, Jericho. But then finally they get to this big match at the opening contest of WrestleMania 17, and Chris Jericho retains the Intercontinental Championship against William Regal with a lion salt. Solid opening match. Not that many people talk about it. I'd give it about a solid 3 out of 5. It was a good way to start the show. Crowd liked it. Nice way for Chris Jericho to get over on the show. Then, of course, we had to go to a match that was a little less than okay. And that was the APA and Taz against the Right to Censor, being the Good Father, Val Venus, and Bull Buchanan, with a match that didn't even last 4 minutes. The only thing I can easily remember off the top of my head was the part where Taz kind of got botched up into the ropes. If he was a little taller, maybe he wouldn't have had that problem. Sorry, Taz. But of course, Taz and the APA get the win after the clothesline from Hell by Bradshaw gets the big win. Right to Censor goes down, and thank goodness, because it was not right after this. Right to Censor finally ended! No more woo woo woo! Sound effect entrance music. My ass can make better music than that, what they frickin' had. Okay, so the next match on the card was the fun triple threat match, Hardcore Championship match. Hardcore rules, Raven defending the Hardcore Championship against Kane and the Big Show. And the match started off right away because right when Kane got into the ring, Raven started brawling with him before Big Show could even come out. They were quick to try to start using some of the weapons before this brawl got backstage. And you saw some crazy bumps and spots all in this match, including stuff involving like almost like a mesh fence. You had stuff involving tables and like catering type of area, golf carts, which almost seemed like a scene out of Super Mario Kart. And the fun fact, Raven almost ended WrestleMania when he accidentally started driving over the main power cord to the arena. So Raven, yeah, close there. And I bet when it comes to golf karting, I believe Raven probably said, quote the Raven, nevermore! And we gotta remember the two big cool spots right in the middle of the match where Kane actually took Raven and threw him through a glass window, and then of course Big Show right afterwards started attacking Kane and they went through a wall. You know, there's one song I can think of where the lyrics would fit this scene perfectly. It fits! Finally, the song Get Low by Lil Jon has another purpose here. But eventually they make their way back through the front of the entrance area. They make it over to the stage. Raven and Big Show get knocked off the stage to the side of the stage. I guess it was some kind of covered up platform or whatever that almost had like plywood or boards or whatever were over there. Kane jumped into the container too with almost like a leg drop and got the pinfall victory to become the new Hardcore Champion. Another solid match right there. Very well done. Love some of the spots that they did in there. But you gotta remember, Raven, you almost killed WrestleMania. Now comes another hidden gem match. One that has a bit of a personal irk for me, I'll explain in just a moment. But Test defending the European Championship against Eddie Guerrero. This was another solid match. Absolutely nobody talks about this one-on-one match. Eddie Guerrero wins the European Championship. But there are two things you gotta remember from this match. One involving a botch and one that irked me. During part of the match, Test got his leg caught up in one of the ropes, and Eddie tried to exit the ring and slipped and fell on his ass. Nice one for the highlight reel. But the part that really irritated me about the match was the constant interference and distraction throughout the match, just so Perry Saturn and Dean Malenko could keep interfering on Eddie's behalf. It's like every few moments, referee's back is turned, interference. Referee's back is turned again. More interference. Over and over and over. Just seemed like a little too much overkill there. That's a personal thing. I'm just saying. Then this is the part where the show really kicks off. We got two legends. Well, a legend and a murderer. Kurt Angle against Chris Benoit in one of their legendary matches, WrestleMania. This match had solid wrestling from start to finish. That's what you got to see in a lot of the high-profile matches on this card. A lot of different styles. Kurt Angle and Chris Benoit being the first big match on the show, and it was an excellent back-and-forth match. Around as great as their match was at Unforgiven 2002, but not quite at the level of Royal Rumble 2003. Still an awesome back-and-forth match. Kurt Angle, of course, cheating to win with a roll-up with the tights. Sneaks out with the victory. That wasn't the end of what they had there, but we're not going to talk about that. But this match, still excellent regardless. Easily an amazing match that people got to see. Now we get to a match where we didn't really get to see it play out at the Royal Rumble, but instead we got a rematch at WrestleMania, and that is Chyna finally going for the Women's Championship against Right to Censor member Ivory. And yes, it was Chyna was finally going to the women's division after going against nothing but men all the time. Former Intercontinental Champion, entered the King of the Ring tournament, entered the Royal Rumble match twice, was #1 contender shortly for the WWE title. Now she's finally going for the Women's Championship, and this was just a glorified squash match. This match, 2.5 minutes, and Chyna won. And I gotta admit, Chyna actually looked pretty nice, like, for her outfit and her presentation throughout this whole match. Great victory there for Chyna. No real rating on there because it was just a one-sided match, but great to see Chyna get a big WrestleMania moment, but sadly this reign did not last long afterwards. And now the part where the show picks up yet again, this one being the street fight. Shane McMahon against Vincent Kennedy McMahon, damn it! And the whole bill was just spiraling off of different factors. Vince drugging Linda and asking for a divorce, having a big affair with Trish while this whole process was happening, and Shane undermining Vince by buying WCW and storyline from under his nose on the last episode of Nitro 6 days before WrestleMania, saying the name on the contract does say McMahon, but it reads Shane McMahon. I now own WCW. So we finally get to this big match. Shane has his WCW guys up in the crowd, and from what I recently heard, there was heat on Shawn Stasiak. I'm not gonna really get into that. And Vince, accompanied by Trish Stratus and his daughter Stephanie, while Linda eventually was getting wheeled down there in a comatose state. And wait, who was the special guest referee? I swear it was that guy who recently got hit in the nuts by Stephanie. Cactus Jack. No. Mankind. No. No. Dude Love. No. I swear, it's right on the tip of my tongue. Yeah, Mick Foley. So Mick Foley, the special guest referee in this street fight. We know the rules. No disqualification, no countout, must end in the ring. And this was just a family drama played out before our eyes. Shane fighting in honor of his mother and everything. Stephanie still siding with her father despite all this and saying that her mom's a bitch and all that stuff. And we gotta remember that slap from a while back. And of course, we had one of the most insane spots that we saw a lot more lights showing off than we usually see even during freaking Bray Wyatt's entrance. Shane trying to go off the top rope to hit a leap of faith to Vince through the announce table, but Stephanie pulls Vince back. You have lights going off like mad in the Astrodome, and Shane crashed and burned. Now, the one thing that still bugged me about that is it felt like Shane kind of oversold that because he was down for like several minutes just from a bump through the announce table. And then afterwards, Trish Stratus made a smart move where she's helping Vince up. It's like, are you okay, Vince? Fuck you! So that led to a big brawl between Stephanie and Trish going all the way up the ramp. That got them out of the match and everything. And eventually Vince decided, hey, you're gonna watch your son get his ass kicked. Damn it! So Vince decides to take Linda and bring her into the ring and decide, watch this! And takes a trash can, getting ready to hit Shane, but then Linda rises to her feet and the crowd stands up in awe. They're like, what the hell? Vince turns around, Linda's like, you bastard! Boom! Right to his raisinets. And we can't forget that JR call, can we? Yeah, the McMahon family jewels. More like tiny pieces of cubic zirconium. So this allows Shane to capitalize, get Vince into the corner, coast to coast with a trash can. Shane gets the win and gets revenge on behalf of his mother. Boom. Awesome move there. Great one-on-one match, but I still think Shane kind of oversold that announce table spot just to really kill time for getting Stephanie and Trish out of that match, but it was what it was. Now comes the TLC match we all know and love. The most iconic TLC match since the first one. Hardy Boys, Dudley Boys, Edge and Christian, triple threat tag team TLC match for the WWF Tag Team Championships. We got a glimpse of how things were the previous SummerSlam in 2000, all the way back in North Carolina, and they just set the bar for how amazing tag team matches can be, and for the tag team division, and this match even took it another step further. Endless action back and forth and great uses of the weapons. You saw interference with Lita, Rhino, and Spike Dudley in the match, including Matt Hardy getting gored through a corner table, Spike Dudley taking Christian down with the Dudley Dog through a table at ringside, and even Lita deciding, chair shot to Spike, and taking off her shirt, yeah, more! And then the Dudley Boys hitting the 3D on Lita. Wait for her to take off more first before you hit her! I would have paid good money to see Lita strip. I bet Edge did. Oh yeah, and speaking of Edge, let's remember that early call where it pretty much predicted the future.
Jerking Edge off the ladder.
Is JR psychic or something here? JR, good call. Then we can't forget some other spots, including Jeff Hardy getting speared out of mid-freaking air by Edge. The most iconic spear probably in wrestling history. Now, a quick fun fact about that spear. In Edge's documentary, You Think You Know Me, the story of Edge, or whatever the title was called, Edge tried to claim where people were talking to him about that, and he's saying, oh, I've never rehearsed that. I've never done that spot before. But you actually did, Edge. The night after Unforgiven 2000, when you and Christian lost the tag team titles to the Hardy Boys in a steel cage match, the following night on Raw, you had a tag team match with Christian against the Hardy Boys again in a rematch for the titles in a ladder match. And you did that exact same spot to Jeff Hardy, mid-air spear after diving off a ladder to take Jeff Hardy down to the ring canvas. Let's also not forget Jeff Hardy's big swanton bomb taking out Spike Dudley and Rhino, well, really taking out one of them because only half the tables broke, but still a cool moment to see on Jeff Hardy. And of course we can't forget also the big spot where Matt Hardy and Bubba Ray went through 4 tables at ringside getting knocked off a ladder, but there are 2 botches at that one. One of them, Jer accidentally said Bubba Ray and Jeff after the spot. And 2, if you listen closely, tell me if you can hear what Matt Hardy's screaming at the top of the ladder.
One is fine, and now we're back live. Matt Hardy and...
Yeah, Matt, you talk too much. But then, of course, right at the end, the Dudley Boys are worn out. The Hardy Boys are out of it. Edge and Christian barely have energy, and it takes the help of Rhino for Edge and Christian to get up the ladders and win the tag team titles. Phenomenal match, easily a 5-star classic. You can't do any better than this. Now to the match that kind of watered things down, went 3 minutes, and that's the infamous Gimmick Battle Royal, where you saw names of all kinds, all pushed in this match. But of course, in the end, Iron Sheik, fucking bullshit, gets the victory over this, as he was the other entrant in this match, last eliminating Hillbilly Jim. But of course, Sergeant Slaughter gets in there to make the crowd go happy with the Cobra Clutch. USA! Now we break it down to the big final 2. The next match of the streak. Undertaker was 8-0, going against Triple H. Just a solid one-on-one match, went around 18 minutes. And we gotta remember one thing, Undertaker tried to destroy a referee who severely oversold an attack. I mean, let's think about this for a second. We have a referee that severely sold getting attacked a few times by The Undertaker, yet the referee at Extreme Rules 2012 between Cena and Brock Lesnar wasn't knocked out for that long, despite getting attacked by Lesnar. But a solid one-on-one match. We gotta remember the build involved a bit of a restraining order. Triple H really going after Undertaker's motorcycle, and Undertaker getting pissed off, and had to really hold Stephanie hostage in order for William Regal to say, okay, you get your match against Triple H. Like I said, a solid one-on-one match, 4 out of 5 stars. Great action back and forth, near falls. That tombstone piledriver kickout was like, oh snap. Undertaker bleeding for a bit, and that choke slam off the whatever scaffold type of structure they were on would have seemed cool if it wasn't for all the pads. Of course, at the end, Triple H makes the same mistake Cena would do a couple years later at Vengeance by going to the corner. Fist, yeah. Last ride, boom, Undertaker goes 9-0 at WrestleMania. And now the big main event, Stone Cold Steve Austin against The Rock for The Rock's WWF Championship in what was suddenly declared a no disqualification match. And I've said before, it's pretty much a cliche here that, and when a match is suddenly declared no disqualification out of nowhere, you're pretty much foreshadowing interference. And the whole build had two roads collide into one, Stone Cold winning his third Royal Rumble match, the only person to do that in WWE history, and The Rock winning the championship against Kurt Angle the following month at No Way Out, so both men colliding. We remember WrestleMania 15, Stone Cold got the big victory there to win the title from The Rock the last time, and The Rock still had not quite gotten a victory over Stone Cold yet at this point, and Vince decided to make things a little personal for a little bit when Deborah, Stone Cold's wife, had to manage The Rock for a short period of time. And we can't forget that amazing video package, My Way, by Limp Bizkit for the whole build to this show. Unbelievable. Probably the best promo in WWE history. Phenomenal job to whoever put that together. So finally the big match takes place, and these two just fought their asses off. Stone Cold gets a little bloody after getting put into the exposed turnbuckle area later in the match, but The Rock got bloodied after getting hit in the head by the ring bell over at ringside. And if you watch the video, right before The Rock can even get hit by the bell, referee had his hand closed a little bit because he had the blade in there. And of course, the referee took the accidental bump when he tripped over the steps, and The Rock, even though the camera zoomed out all the way from the crowd, The Rock then actually bent down by the steps to pick up the blade, and just then went over to get hit in the head by the ring bell. And also, let's not forget, The Rock accidentally broke the table. Let's face it, the announce table's never really that friendly with The Rock. That's like the second time in 3 instances I can think of the announce table failing on him. First was Royal Rumble 1999, and then you suddenly have it at Royal Rumble 2013 as well. And Rock's not even that heavy, and yet the table's collapsing underneath him? Hard like a rock. But these two fight their asses off, stealing each other's finishers and saying near falls, but of course Vince decides to come down to the ring and help Stone Cold. When The Rock gets the cover on Stone Cold and pulls The Rock off of Stone Cold to keep the match going, Rock just looks at him, he's like, motherfucker. Even after The Rock starts laying the smacketh down on Vince McMahon, it's one of the craziest Stone Cold stunners ever and just flops around more like a fish out of water than Vince did in '97 to an insane near fall. And of course, the match, the finish, is what has prevented me from giving it a 5-star rating. Before people ask, no, it is not the whole thing of Stone Cold turning heel. I'm talking about what happened to cause the victory, and that was just steel chair shots onto The Rock. To me, you can't have a proper finish to a main event if somebody's able to get beat by chair shots. Look what happened in the main event of the previous year's WrestleMania. Took 2 chair shots by Vince McMahon to The Rock in order for Triple H to retain the title. So to me, that just knocked it off by a quarter of a star. Stone Cold wins after repeated chair shots to The Rock and getting the pin. If I were Stone Cold, I would have then picked up The Rock, hit one more stunner, and gotten the victory, because the chair shot finish just made the finish feel anticlimactic in my opinion. But overall, this show, like I said, was amazing. Sure, the undercard wasn't stellar and everything, but once Kurt Angle and Chris Benoit started happening and the rest of the card progressed, it's turned out to be phenomenal. So out of 10 stars, folks, WrestleMania 17 gets a solid 9.5 out of 10 stars. The things that really hurt the rating for me personally would be, like, of course, the referee overselling at the Undertaker Triple H match, Shane's overselling in his announce table spot, China having just a bit of too short of a match here. I mean, I understand the purpose, but it hurt the quality of the show just a tad. I would have liked to see a bit of a quality match there, but it's whatever. So that, like I said, 9.5 out of 10. I still rate this the best WrestleMania of all time, just a little more than WrestleMania 19. And I still say this is the best pay-per-view WWE ever did. So thanks for watching, folks. Like, comment, subscribe. See ya. The champ has spoken, folks.